Welcome to a new series here on Hammers Chat, and I'm going to kick it off by telling you a little secret. So come here, come a little bit closer. I've been wanting to do a series like this for years because transfer rumours have always been a part of this channel, and they still will be. The Transfer Rumour Show is going nowhere. This series is in addition to what we currently do rather than a replacement for. But when there's a big transfer rumour, like the Damatrio one, what we'll do is we'll create content around that transfer rumour and we'll discuss it hypothetically. Ultimately, there's a lot of small questions which leads to one big question. Do we want that transfer to happen? And there's various different questions that we'll answer throughout. Is it good value? Is the player available? Will he fit into what we're trying to do at West Ham? That player's position, is he someone we need, the type of player, etc, etc. We discuss it hypothetically and ultimately answer the question, do we want it to happen? And within there we will discuss, do we believe it or not? But quite often over the last few transfer windows I thought maybe I should do a video once a week rounding up all the transfer rumours, because so far the Transfer Rumour Show I probably only discuss, I don't know, 30% of transfer rumours out there in regards to West Ham, because the other 70% I either don't see or I dismiss instantly and think, no. But I've thought maybe I should do a transfer rumour rating show from the legit to the bullshit. And that's what I'm doing today, and you can blame or thank Pigs, because he or she has said, can you talk about transfer rumours? I know it's early doors, but I'd really like to know. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to combine two of my favourite types of content to make on this channel. Transfer rumours and tier lists. And I'm combining them into this new series where we are going to rate the West Ham transfer rumours. And between now and the end of January, I'm going to mix it up a little bit as well and get a couple of guests on throughout to get their perspective on things and discuss, is it legit or is it bullshit? So let's, without further ado, get the tier list up. So at the very top, we've got Believe It. This is the one I'm sold on. I'm convinced the transfer rumour is true. Not that I necessarily think it's going to happen, but I believe that West Ham are interested. Okay, I'm listening. I'm a little bit convinced. I think there's something in it. I just need a bit more convincing before I say, yep, I believe that 100%. Dunno. And you always need a neutral category, don't you? You always need one, so I've made one. I am unconvinced. So that's the ones where I don't think it's likely. I don't believe it for one reason or another. But I hold my hands up. Maybe I'm wrong. And at the very bottom, I've got stinky, just because I like that phrase. That's the bullshit one. That's the one I'm convinced it's made up. It's not even unlikely. It's just made up. So without further ado, I'm going to take the easy one, if you don't mind, at the start. And I'm going to put a Damatrio in, Believe It. Now, I'm going to need your help for this series. If you see transfer rumours regarding West Ham, and I do my best to keep my fingers on the pulse and see what's going on, but I will miss some. So if you see any, please do let me know in the comments of videos, and I will collate them during the week. And then at the end of the week or the middle of the week, 7 days later, I will do a tier list on my own or with a guest, and we will rate the transfer rumours. And I'd like to see you guys get involved as well. So get involved in the comments. Don't be shy. Damatrio, I'm whacking in Believe It because, well, I believe it. I think this one, Nuno clearly likes the player. They've got history as well at Wolves. In terms of his availability, I think it's there. In January, he will have 5 months left on his Fulham contract. No sign of a contract extension yet. Nuno apparently wanted him at Nottingham Forest. In terms of affordability, I don't think he would cost that much. When I'm looking at our current squad, we've got Bowen in Somerville. Guilherme is there, but we've not seen Nuno use him yet. So I think the question is, do we need another winger? I don't think it's priority, but I certainly think it would be third or at worst fourth on my wish list. Now, would Damatrio be that player? No, but we're not discussing whether or not we want to play in this series. It's whether or not we believe the transfer rumour, right? So you at home said, oh, I want Traore. That's a different video. This is, do you believe the transfer rumour video? I firmly believe this one. Next up, we've got Troy Parrott. I'm going to put it in stinky. I'll tell you why. And this is where it's hard not to talk about the player from a do you want him perspective. stick to the transfer rumour evaluation, Gio. I'll tell you why it's stinky. It's just way too convenient, isn't it? We got linked to him in the last 24 hours. He bags a brace against Portugal, whacks in a hat-trick against Hungary. He's the Irish hero, sensational. As terms of like an individual player's international break that during qualifiers goes, it's up there with the best of them. What an absolute fantastic few days it's been for him. And he's been brilliant over the Netherlands since leaving Spurs. So in terms of do we need a striker? Yes. Is he a good age? Yes. There's a lot to like about the transfer, but that doesn't mean I believe we want him. If we were linked to him a month ago, fair. We weren't. We got linked to him after he bagged 5 goals in 2 games from Ireland and he became a good name for SEO purposes on articles. I think this is a made-up transfer rumour because he's the man of the moment at the minute, and whoever's made up the transfer rumour is cashing in on Parrott. At the end of the day, it's, Parrott, everyone's Googling him, let's link him to someone. Which Premier League club needs a striker? West Ham. There you go. That's how I think they'll come up with the transfer rumour. We'll go with Kobbie Mainoo next. I'm going to put it in dunno. I'll tell you why. Because for 1 minute I'm like, yeah, I can see it. And the next I'm thinking, no, actually I will put him in. I am unconvinced. The transfer rumour was we want him on loan. And we basically said you're going to get minutes at West Ham. And I believe Mainoo will be available on loan. Because he wanted out in the summer on loan, got told no. His game time between now and then has been limited. So there's only more evidence and more reasons for Mainoo to insist on a loan in the January transfer window. So I do believe he will leave Old Trafford. So it ticks the is he available box. Is he affordable? Yeah, because it's a loan move, right? It's just, will we go after a player of his type? Maybe once we've done other business, if he's still available and we can afford him, perhaps. And I do think whoever gets him is getting a great player on a great deal. But again, remind myself as much as you, this is about rating the transfer rumour. So I'm going to put him in I am unconvinced because I don't see it. I don't believe it. And I think it's more paper talk, almost Mainoo agency talk, trying to spark interest in him. Because if he wants out the door, he's going to need Premier League clubs lining up on the 1st of January to take him. So the more clubs he's linked to, the better. I think we've just been used as a way of gauging interest and getting his name out there and making or reminding people of his availability. But because he's available, I can't quite put him in the stinky category yet. Next up, we got Zhu, who plays for that club that Gonzo was struggling to pronounce, and I don't know how you pronounce Midland. I'm going to put him in don't know. And the reason I'm going to put him in don't know is because we've been linked to him in the past. In the summer. We were linked to him in the summer as well. So there is a historical link there. However, we also got linked to Sean Wright-Phillips and Ida Johnson for years on end and nothing ever happens. So that doesn't always mean you're interested. It just means you're constantly linked to him. And there's a bit of hype about him and he's scoring goals. So I could see why he would be appealing to a Premier League club in need of a striker, which is what we are. So in terms of his position, it's ticking the box. In terms of availability and affordability, I think the latter is ticking a box as well, that it would cost less than 20 million, or that's the rumoured price tag, 20-ish million. I think that's fair for a striker. But I don't know enough about him. So that's why I'm going to put him in don't know. I think when I know more about the players, I'll feel stronger about whether or not I believe the transfer rumour, I think, if that makes sense. Charlie Creswell, I'm going to put I am unconvinced. Now, obviously, someone in the summer that I really wanted. But again, I feel like it's a bit of a Troy Parrott type transfer rumour here, which is popular player, a lot of people wanting him. So let's pretend we want him. And when I say we, I don't mean the club are pretending we want him. I mean the media are pretending we want him so that they can link him to Cresswell and it gets traction, so on and so forth. The reason I'm not quite in stinky is because he does tick a lot of boxes. Do we need a centre-back? Yes. Do we need that type of centre-back? Yes. Is he affordable? Yes. He's homegrown. So there's a lot of boxes being ticked here. The reason I'm unconvinced is because it feels too easy. It feels too much of a coincidence that we got linked to him whilst he was one of the best players at the Euros in the summer for England. And it's exactly what's happening here with Troy Parrott. He's had an incredible international break and suddenly he's been linked to West Ham. Where was the link before those 2 goals against Portugal? Because if we were genuinely interested in him, we would have wanted him before those goals against Portugal. Because, you might do some scouting during the international break, but I would suggest it's foolish to decide to sign a player based on what he does for his country in comparison to his club. I appreciate we went and signed, or certainly scouted and put the final touches on the scouting of Juve when he played England, but I'm not having it. So I'm putting Cresswell in the I am unconvinced category. I think it's more of a fans want it to happen rather than the club want him. Next up is another centre-back, which is Alexandro. I'm going to put him in the... I see it's a bit of a difficult one because this is rating the transfer rumour. So I'm going to put it in the dunno category. Now, this can't happen because he's injured. He's injured his quadriceps. And there was some talk that he's going to have surgery, but now apparently he's not having surgery. However, he's still out for the next few months, and therefore it rules the transfer out. But he was linked to us prior to that injury. Apparently, he was Nuno's top target, Leo centre-back. He came in and he said, this is the guy I want at West Ham. And because it's a name we've not been linked to before, that's what made me believe it a little bit and make me pay attention. Had the same article said, oh, Nuno's come in and demanded Charlie Creswell as his top target, I think, has he though? Or are you just rehashing a previous transfer rumour? But this is a fresh transfer rumour. This is a fresh name. I'm not seeing us linked to Alexandro prior to Nuno arriving at West Ham, which makes me think there's an element of truth to it. We just can't buy him because he got injured, but we're rating the rumour, not the likelihood of it happening. So I'm going to put him in the don't know. Suspicious, but I'm probably more okay. Actually, I probably was okay. No, be fair, Gio. I was thinking maybe there's something here. The only reason I'm putting him there is because we can't buy him. He's injured, but I'll put him in there. We're rating the rumour. Ivan Toney, I'm putting in stinky. Don't believe it. Never believed it. I haven't done a video about it because I think it's bullshit. Although I was tempted to do a video saying I think it's bullshit. I think it's a complete non-starter. Because he's been in Saudi for less than 2 years, if he was to return to the UK, there's a huge, huge financial implication for him. Now, this isn't Jordan Henderson getting out early doors and giving up all the money he'd earned. He needs to stay there for a further 6 months, Ivan Toney. Then he can leave Saudi with zero repercussions. He can keep the money he's earned in Saudi. The tax doesn't come into it. I just don't believe Toney will leave Saudi in January. I don't believe it at all. His whole purpose for going to Saudi was to earn a lot of money. He was very honest about it. He was very open about going to Saudi because it's life-changing sums of money for him, his family, and future generations. Well, I just don't think you go there, and after you've done 18 months and you're 6 months away from being able to leave, you just chuck it in. Now, he'd still be better off, but the amount of money he would lose, which is millions, I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. Now, if he was playing, I don't know, in the Bundesliga, for example, and there wasn't those restrictions, then I'd be more inclined to believe this, because again, it would tick the boxes. But because of that financial barrier and the impact it would have on Ivan Toney, I don't believe this whatsoever. Again, it doesn't mean I don't want it to be true. Different discussion. And last up, we've got Haji Wright. I'm going to put him in the okay, I'm listening. Coventry City player. Good player. I like him. But we're not discussing if I like him, Gio. Reminder. He was linked to us by X Ham employee, which I tick in my book. I think X is good when it comes to transfer news. In terms of his availability, though, this is what's preventing me from believing it a lot. If I'm his agent or whatever, I'm maybe suggesting consider staying where you are because there's a good chance you get promoted this season and you'll be playing Premier League football next season. But a move to West Ham, you'd imagine he would, speaking of Tony's wages, you'd imagine he would triple, quadruple his wages overnight compared to what he's on at Coventry. And there's every possibility that Coventry don't get promoted, and there's every possibility that West Ham stay up. Now, obviously, in the January transfer window, that picture will be clearer one way or another. Whether it's Coventry are more likely to get promoted, or we're more likely. It's possible that we're both playing Premier League football, or we're both playing Championship football, of course, next season. But I do think he's one of the better attackers in the Championship. And you look at Isidore, who I feel was on a similar level, maybe not quite the same level, but I don't think there's much between last season's Isidore and this season's Wright. And you look at Isidore this season in the Premier League, and he's doing it. Is he one of the best strikers in the Premier League? No. But he'd get into established Premier League clubs' side. He'd get into the West Ham team. He would get into the Everton team. I think he'd get into the Fulham team at the minute. You could make a case that he'd even have had an opportunity at Aston Villa this season, because Ollie Watkins hasn't been firing on all cylinders just yet. So I think there is talent in that league, and I think if we're looking for someone that we could possibly get without much competition, I think going into the Championship is the best way of doing it, because they're more expensive. Buying from the Championship, I think, is more expensive than buying from, say, the Danish league, for example. But I think that's what's putting me off. I just think he'd be too expensive. I don't think he'd be good value for money necessarily. So I'll put it in the OKM listing. I wouldn't be surprised if this was true, but I'm just not convinced it's 100%, if that makes sense. Traore, I just completely believe that transfer rumour is genuine. And there you go. There's my rumour rating. Let me know what you think of those rumours. What we've got there is 8 rumours to kick us off. Let me know which category you would put each one in. And again, just to stress, this is not what you would like to see happen. Because if it was, I can assure you, that would be in a completely different order. It's not about what you desire. It's about whether or not you believe the transfer rumour. Anyway, pigs, thank you so much. If you guys have hated this new video, blame pigs. If you guys have enjoyed this new video and you think this could be a good series, then thank pigs. Pigs has inspired me with that request for a series. I thought, you know what? I'm going to kick off my new series. I'll be back next week rating some more West Ham transfer rumours. So if you see any in the meantime, do give me the heads up. That'd be much appreciated. But if you have enjoyed the video, please do drop a like on it. Scouting Hammers Chat. I'll catch you in a bit.